Elbow coughing there, damn. What's going on in the chat? You alright? You hopefully you ain't got that monkey knuckle. Alright, honorable admiration, all my good brothers and sisters of the feather. It's truly my pleasure to bring y'all this knowledge and information in the middle of the night. Don't know why I like doing it around this time. But I do. You know, it's kind of like a KFI, Art Bell, George Norrie type of vibe, you know, because I'm touching on certain things at night that are advanced, and but I'm gonna touch a lot of things that, you know what I'm saying, these night shows. Y'all gonna get me 5 days a week, 11 p.m. Now, lately I've been late, you know, bear with me. Know what I mean? Fashionably on time. Hope y'all can hear me. Can I get a one? Hit me with the ones and twos. Am I loud and clear? What's going on? Hey, Rudy Duke of the Great Lakes in the building. Garfield Rahule. I think that's how you say it. Dang, got Barkham Live. Juice. Peace. That's what's up. How's it going? The one and only Elizabeth Young. How you doing tonight, sister? And our gracious, honorable sister, Gretchen Him. How you doing tonight? How y'all, man? Appreciate y'all taking y'all time to come get some information and knowledge for our good brothers and sisters of our people. You know, there's certain knowledge and information that's for everybody and anybody. And, you know, some of the information and knowledge is what our ancestors, you know, didn't have the pleasure of leaving all of us. So it's my pleasure to give you the information of the ancestors. Not some cosmology, but some information from the ancestors passed down. As I mentioned, I do descend from a upper echelon. In fact, that's why the name of production company I'm putting together called Lut Echelon Shalon. It's going to be very interesting in this journey of these things that are being put together. Production company, as in producing everything, you know, as in mine, manufacture, mass produce. You know, I already have my 3MP logos ready to go. And, you know, soon you'll find this. You'll find it in the merch very soon, sometime this year. If not, it'll be ready to launch in the beginning of next year. 3MP is, it's very important to understand that mine manufacture and mass produce everything we want, need, and use is absolute separation from everything that you feel is wrong in the world today. It's about being completely and utterly independent. And before you get to 3MP, you have to deal with maintenance, repair, overall maintenance, repair, operation. Maintenance as in of the body, which is what I am teaching, starting out with the feet, working my way to the hands and ears before I bust to the rest the rest of the parts of the anatomy pertaining to healing, holistic to massage. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for it. This is the Xaxamenga Institute of Technology. Why? Because it's the shit. You know what I mean? So basically, tonight y'all in for a treat. Let me, people might be getting dizzy off of that. Cut the music down for a minute. Where we at? All right. Let me know I'm loud, not clear. All right. Well, okay, I'm not hearing any other. All right. All right. Okay. I was gonna show some images, but I want to make sure there's no distractions. So I want to only show the specific things pertaining to what you see. That's right. So we'll be no woogie woogie tonight. I will have some nights where it gets all woogie woogie with it. You know what I mean? I will have some of those nights. But not tonight. Tonight we're talking about a very, 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 very important science, and broadcasting on 5 channels at the same time right now. Usually I don't do it, but for this, I will start doing it because this is also on my Amuwae So she can she should make an institution of technology channel as well. Um, that's going to be an advanced channel. All is going to be strictly high sciences, not mic check 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I got kicked out right now. Okay, okay. Let me get a mic check. 1 2 1 2. Some ones and some twos. You don't gotta put a 1 or 2. Just put something out there to let me know that I am being heard. I saw the mic was picking me up, but okay. All right. I do not know where I left off, so let me get to the important parts. I see they're not playing tonight, so I will definitely get right to it. Okay. Might have a little more compression on my voice. That happens when the windows are up. So, okay. Let me get to these images. Again, this is a machine that absorbs energy, specifically light energy. Okay, so naturally, frequency is occurring at 300 megahertz. Now, frequency is just something that's happening over and over again. So this is a vibration that is oscillating at 300 megahertz. 300 gigahertz in meter to 1 meter sound. UHF, EMF. These are key things that I will be breaking down. I'm just going over the basics of this so people get the understanding, and then I'll break into the math. Just want to make sure everyone knows. So, color line of sight, visible light. That's 400 nanometers to 750 nanometers, 750 to 400. I'm trying to remember if it's theta hertz. Maintenance of Earth, restoring ecological order. That means there's some stuff there I can't even say. So before I even get to the math and all the information about what we brought to the world, I wanted to go over these things. So repair Earth by releasing the blocked water, overhaul massive scale, aggregating our needs, maintenance of people, restoring mind, body, and genealogy, repair, ecological purpose, food, and liquids. That means that even though the foods that we're eating and they've been telling us does all these good things for us, and even if you do feel good after eating it, we still need to re-examine everything that we're putting in our body. All right, so the operations of people. Okay, mine for minerals using machines, not using our physical bodies, not using some Ubuntu babies to pick up the minerals. Mass produce for free. Story that's something else too that I really can't talk about, go into at the moment. Geodynamic, biodynamic, and that's dealing with the earth, but most importantly, that breaks into the ecological science of our body, our physical anatomy, the effect that we have on the world, other than what we've been told is polluting. The common things, the sneezing, the hiccup, burp, fart, hell, you name it, urinating, defecating, all of it, bleeding on the ground, every single thing that our genetic makeup does in the way that it reacts with everything in nature. And getting into the earth, the vents, the fissures, tectonic plates, 80% of the surface, more than rainforest, the biodynamic diatoms, 20% of the photosynthesis, fixation of carbon, the flora, all life in trees, insects, birds, fauna, all life in the flora system, mammals, and fish. And then this breaks down into the science. Let me show this up. The friction has to go through, this is the F5, the flora, all life, the fauna, all life, friction, fission, and fusion, meaning that the way that the world works, it's operating on this. The details are very, very complicated to explain and long, so that's the reason why Xaxamenga Institution of Technology has been created, because it's going to take time to explain these things. Okay. Existence. I don't want to get off philosophical, so I'll cut right through that. All that. Okay, that's my other one. I get a picture of that. Okay, now to the machine that I showed earlier, there's another machine that's light, but this is dealing with the magnetron technology. Now I have at the top is 200,480.72 miles per square inch, increasing per square inch. So I guess it's like per square to per square square. This is also details to much of the technology that is to be used today, and for other practical applications that will be explained also on a further date. So we're talking about magnetron, diode, light, heat, and wind, and these are the simple functions that are in your microwave. And the same technology for your microwave is used for a great deal of other things. For example, the same technology used for sonar is the same technology used in your microwave. That's right. Magnetron electricity, charged magnets. Now get this. This is another story. I'm just basically giving an introduction to the things that will be taught. Go through the details of this, and then we'll get physical. I plan to open up a couple of warehouse, factory, lab, CNC shops, so we can actually do these things and work these things out and get it done ourselves. Now that we have the opportunity to do it, we see everything stagnate in the world, take advantage. So our sun functions like your household microwave. For another day, I would love to share that information, but we need to get to the meat and potatoes of tonight. So magnetron technology is the foundation of our world today. In free energy and solar, we no longer need to pay for electricity or water. Natural foods are a necessity. Foods with additive agents must be removed. Inoculation is can't go into the details of that. But you can read it and see where I'm going. All right. Okay, so frequency recapitulated by magnetron and black box technology will generate free energy with the right tone, flux oscillating, healing energy, amplifying ecological balance. That means that we need to find a way to use our technology to where it's benefiting the ecological. When you turn on your cell phone, you get a message on your cell phone. It should be healing or helping nature around you instead of destroying the nature around you. All right. So, in ecological balance, using white box technology to absorb. Again, I want to read this so everyone gets understanding. This is something that I am planning on to work on in a couple of warehouse, factories, labs, you name it. Frequency recapitulated by magnetron and black box technology will generate free energy with the right tone, flux oscillating, healing energy, amplifying ecological balance using white box technology to absorb. Yes. There are specific minerals and machines that need to be made. There's a specific amount of space that is needed, a specific amount of acres and land that is needed for us to create these shops. These things will push us into the future. It's time to get back to what our ancestors were doing 200 years ago. So I see that, this is how I personally feel, that no one has taken these steps forward. All we can do is look back at all our great innovators and inventors, and nobody's doing anything. So I'm taking my foot and I'm going to put it to ground and into warehouse and into lab and into factory and into CNC machining. You name it, it's time to do it. And that's what I'm going to do. So this will be dealing with magnetron tech, the black box that emits, the white box that absorbs, the free energy feed, the solar tech storage. All right, so let me get to the fun stuff. Because that's definitely not the fun stuff. So when it comes to ancient tech, see this. Okay, the light's kind of okay. There it is. All right. So in this book, I'm going to read about ancient civilizations that they have here. Probably won't have to read the whole thing, but just to share, these are where the high sciences, mathematics, and building and structures have come from. Well, let's see what it has to say. Man, where the hell is this shit at? Excuse my language. Excuse me. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you guys can kind of see it. There you go. So that is the symbol for Atlantis. It is a perfect cross, plus sign, or whatever, and with boundaries on each end. Now, this symbol to many can represent a lot, but let's see what it says. Of course, I'm not going to read all the details to it, but so the math that I'm breaking down is it's going to take some time for me really to explain it. But the math that I'm breaking down, when I come up with my numbers, 200,480.72, that's dealing with a very, very complex situation because it's dealing with phytoplankton photosynthesis. It's dealing with plankton itself in the form of. Hold on. All right, gotta make sure I got weirdos around. So in the form of diatoms. So next Thursday, in fact, this will be like my main thing on Thursdays. Next Thursday, I will start sharing that diatoms are the real atoms, and when you look in diatoms, the reason why it's called diatoms is because it killed the atom. So anyway, so you see the symbol. This symbol here, to some people represents perfection. So we'll see. It says the continent of Atlantis, according to occult lore, existed in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean until its sinking some 11,000 years ago. So whenever somebody is saying that in the symbol of perfection, which I'm going to go back to because that's dealing with the math of it. That many people are talking about this situation occurring 11,000 years ago. A constant theme in occult secret society teachings during the Theosophical century. I want everybody to understand when I say that they started making everything up after 1860. In 1875, they started creating all this stuff. So you got anybody talking about ancient Atlantis having some ancient cosmology or ancient Atlantis math and science? Well, what I'm trying to explain to you is the people created that in 1875. They're called the Theosophical. It's called the Theosophical century from 1875 to 1975. All right, so I don't know if y'all can see it. So basically, let me get to the important parts. Okay. Since Atlantis was very nearly a forgotten story until 1882. So now they're going to say that, oh, nobody knew about it. It's a forgotten story. 1882. when the Irish-American politician and writer Ignatius Donnelly, 1831 to 1901, launched it on its modern career. Again, I got the stuff in the book. I could break it all down. They have the symbol of perfection up here. I'm going to go right back into that. Launched it on its modern career. The presence of Atlantis is a significant theme in secret society teachings. Okay, so basically 1875 to 1882, we have a name. We have two names. We got two names. No, we just got one name here. So when you go through these books and we're breaking into something, because if this is the source of the ancient civilization, the ancient science, then if we're talking about math, then we're going to have to talk about Atlantis. All right? No, don't worry, y'all. I'm getting to Lemuria, Moon, Mesopotamia, cracking all that. But the key important thing is to know is you cannot say that this story of Atlantis predates Ignatius Donnelly. Okay? You cannot say it predates that Slav. All right? Now, you could try and talk about Plato and all that nonsense. And then you could try and talk about the story supposedly told by an Egyptian priest in the city of Sais to Plato's ancestors, Solon, the Athenian lawgiver, according to the story around 9600 BCE, the city of Athens fought a war against the empire of Atlantis. So you see that anytime they're throwing into their fake stories of Greek, Rome, and all this stuff where they have this, where they try and claim the math and sciences and the medicine and everything really becomes a civilized thing, you always have these polemics that they throw in with their nonsense. But at the end of the day, we know it's Ignatius Donnelly. All right, we'll spell it for y'all. Look this dude up. Ignatius, last name Donnelly. All right, so the perfect man, the symbol perfection, goes into what I broke down, the 32I square. So go watch the video 32I square, and it's going to break down the mathematics and science of the symbol of perfection. Also connected to this, the lost continents, rejected knowledge. You can go look these things up. In this book, whenever it says C at the end, and it'll have it in a darker print, lost continents, rejected knowledge. For you who like to go Google search, you can go just Google it right now. You can go type it in, lost continents, rejected knowledge, and it'll pull up all this stuff that's in this book. Okay, so they throw in all that other stuff. So we done with Atlantis. So Atlantis, then we have Lemuria. Bow. Now you saw that it had the symbol of perfection. Now you see what it has for the symbol of Lemuria, y'all. Hopefully it's clicking. I know some people don't. It doesn't quite click what I'm doing. So hopefully it's starting to click. Before you had the symbol of the plus, that's perfection. And if you look at it as the sliding scale, in the middle was 0, and then you're sliding over to the left, sliding over to the right, you're sliding up, you're sliding down. Now you have a diagram. Okay. Lemuria. Okay. So you have the symbol of perfection, and now what do you got? Compass. You got the compass and ruler symbol for masonry. The symbol to make how to make a perfect circle. You see what it's making. Okay. Slide your pencil in that thing. Put your point. You adjust what measurements per millimeter, and you make your circle. Okay, so this tool is for making circles. Half circle, corner circle in designs and so on and so forth, for like a kaleidoscope. But that's a story for another day. So Lemuria in Atlantis, so far you're seeing symbols that represent perfection, mathematics, and these symbols are saying the same thing. Very interesting. So Lemuria, the continent of Lemuria, according to modern occult traditions, existed in what is now the Eastern Indian and Southwestern Pacific Ocean, but sank beneath the waves long before the heyday of Atlantis. So right here they're saying that Lemuria predates Atlantis. The history of the concept of Lemuria offers an extraordinary glimpse into the genesis of rejected knowledge. See, now it's going back into the rejected knowledge. While Lemuria is second only to Atlantis itself among the lost continents of occult lore and has been backdated into myth and legend from around the world, the idea of Lemurian continent dates only from the 1860s. Hear me when I say, think I'm playing when I be saying this shit, y'all. Y'all be, I mean, I don't know. I'm not, well, not y'all. But a lot of people think this shit is a game when they try and say ancient cosmology, ancient history, and you trying to backdate it, you trying to give it dates back to some BC time and all this stuff happening when the story does not predate 1860. You know, gang. You see how, what, you see this book is tore? Well, I didn't even want to put pen to this book. But if I put pen to this book, all this shit'll be marked up. Okay, so 1860s and was first proposed not by mystics or secret society initiates, but by a group of sober British genealogy. See, Atlantis, lost continents, rejected knowledge. So again, they're saying British geologists. That is the Royal Geographical Society. So in the 1860s, geologists, man, let me start looking straight, man. I'm all leaning. Geologists in Indies and South Africa noticed close similarities in rock strata and fossil animals from the two regions, y'all. So what they're doing is they're at the same time they're gonna bring up petrified giant type of science and information without saying petrified giant. But even in this book, they got the giants and all that stuff is in here too. All that shit is in here too, yo. Again, this is A to Z. There ain't shit you can say that's in some mystic or secret societies. It's not in this book. And the stuff that you can pull out, hey, thank you. That's all I can say. Because then I'll be learning something new. So basically the rock strata and fossil animals from the two regions, Lemur's primates now found only on Madagascar form the crux of the problem. Lemur fossils occurred in both areas, but at the time they have been found nowhere else. So they're basing a civilization that has a symbol to make a perfect circle that's based upon the plus symbol, the symbol of perfection, the perfected man. We're seeing that their own evidence, the only evidence that they have, other than people writing about it in the 1860s, is bones and fossils. So for people talking about you can't use bone structure or you can't use bones and all this stuff about bones and use CIS or whatever type of crime scene investigation, what was that, CSI or whatever that whatever the fuck this shit. You know what I mean? Shit. Clock in. Yep, bringing that back. So basically, let me get down to it. Fossils occurred in both areas the first time. that at that time they had been found nowhere else. The theory of continental drift had not yet been proposed. So you hearing all this stuff, y'all? This is what's taking place in 1860. Hopefully I'm loud and clear, y'all. Let me know because they might be messing me up. All right. By the way, I've had this book since I lived in Gardena when I first traded my Kwame Nkrumah. So that's I think about 2014. All right, the theory of continental drift had not yet been proposed, much less accepted by conventional geology. But land bridges, the most famous being the Bering Sea land bridge, connected Alaska and Siberia, where much is fashioned. Thus, several geologists propose that a sunken landmass once connected southeastern Africa with the west coast of southern India. British geologist Philip Scalter gave the concept its lasting name by suggesting that it be called Lemuria after Lemurs that suddenly once inhabited it. All right, so I'm not gonna read all this other stuff. Now they're going into a Asia and Middle East land bridge. They didn't start talking about that till 1970s. I'm gonna get to the point. So with this stuff, y'all, to get to the point, to the meat and potato of it, you'll see that just look at the dates and the names around the dates. 1970s. Last reports for old concepts well before then. Lemuria had come to attention. Okay, here we go. Occult philosopher Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, in her first book, Isis Unveiled, 1877. Telling y'all it's always after 1860 and most of the time after 1875. Lemuria got a brief discussion alongside Atlantis, but The Secret Doctrine in 1888 placed it all center stage. All right, so we're seeing is Blavatsky, Helena Petrovna, and the Theosophical Society. Again, when I was reading Atlantis, it said the Theosophical Society. So let's get back to the dates. The Lost Lemuria, that was written by William Scott Elliott, 1904. They talk about 12-foot tall Lemurians leading tame plesiosaurs. Plesio, I'm trying to remember how to say this. Plesiosaurus. On leashes, according to Scott Elliott, their modern descendants, including Australian Aborigines and African Bushmen. All right, so who else? Another major source was Frederick Oliver's 1894 novel, A Dweller on Two Planets. Damn. Very interesting book. I haven't read that book, but I heard that's a very interesting book. Which he's claimed to have received telepathical from a master named Philos, the Tibetan. It included accounts of Lemurian colonies inside Mount Shasta in Northern California. So, so what I'm saying is, I'm going with what he said. Now the thing is, I'm cheating because I don't have to believe it. Damn, I don't got it up here no more. My Lemuria, come on. Oh, looks like I took it down. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to mess it up. So basically, the person Frederick Oliver in 1894 is writing that Lemuria is Mount Shasta, and even today they have cities up there near Mount Shasta where they say that's ancient Lemuria, and it has Tartar structures. I showed some of that the other night. Also, that's not too far from Bohemian Grove. So, and very important people meet up there. They do their weirdo stuff too, but they also we're talking about world leaders meeting up in Bohemian Grove. World leaders meeting up in California. And that's the only one they tell you about. You know, people don't even know about the ones in the other states. I'm not even going to say any names. I'm not saying too much. After that, just know that it said here, Lemuria, Northern California, Mount Shasta. All right, so let's see what else. What else they giving us? 1930s. Okay, look at this. Look at this. All right, let me get back here. Okay, by way of Blavatsky, Scott Elliott, and other theosophical writers, Lemuria quickly entered the mainstream of late 19th and early 20th century popular culture. Among many others, American pulp fantasy writer Robert Howard wove it in most of the theosophical worldview into the imaginary history behind his Conan the Barbarian stories. The rise of the rival lost continent of the Pacific, Mu, in the 1930s, muddied the waters for a time, but had little long-term impact. In the 1950s, many believers in lost continents simply assumed that Mu and Lemuria were actually the same continent. See Mu. All right, so let me see if they got anything else in here. Okay, that's important. So 1875 to 1975, they put this information together. And the group of people who they're called Ancient Mystical Order Rosicrucians. So that's the Rosicrucians. And the societies, the Rosicrucian in America. The first one, Ancient Mystical Order Rosicrucis, is AMORC, and the society. Okay, so I gotta say it the right way. So the Societas Rosicruciana in America, SRIA, and the Society of the Inner Light. These groups are in Mount Shasta. Think this shit is a game, huh? Think this shit is a game? No, it is not. And it goes on, continues talking about Mount Shasta. I want to get to Mu. Any other name, any other date? All right. So this is showing you the people who say that's 11,000 years old, 10,000 years old. It's these people here. Okay. So Blavatsky in 1888, Cervet in 1982, Descamps in 1970, Scott Elliott in 1962. All right, so let's get to the continent of Mu. Now we see the symbols, symbol of perfection, the plus symbol with the ends, the way they look, you know what I'm saying, complete ends, perfect measurements, what looks like somewhat like a Maltese cross. Let me get some. And then for Lemuria, you have the symbol of a circle. Again, the same symbol for Atlantis is a symbol they'll say that is for magic. And Aleister Crowley used it. So, you know what I'm saying? When I say certain things, I know I kind of like say things fast and I'm not taking my time to explain stuff. So I'll be like, yeah, man, that's Aleister Crowley. And, you know, a lot of people don't catch on or whatever. So you can go over this stuff. You can look this stuff up. You can type it in. The symbol for Atlantis and find that same symbol. All right. I only got so much more time for this. There we go. Mu has no symbol. Does it on the other side. Nope. Got the Murray hypothesis. Goddamn, you got the mothers of darkness. And then you got Mu in between. All right, so Mu, its origins date back to Fray Diego de Landa, right? Spanish monk in the 16th century. It's when it comes to the stuff that's most made up, it will have the conquistadors stamp on it in some way, somehow. So when it comes to Mu, instead of them talking about over there in Hawaii, Solomon Islands, India, and off of Sri Lanka, they're talking about the Yucatan, the Maya culture. So far, basically, the math that I'm explaining is the perfected man, the mathematics to the perfected man, which is on 32I square, which I put out a month ago on Supreme Chief Holiday's channel. Then you have the symbol of a circle, the measurements of how big you want a circle. And this is also connected to what I shared in 32I square. But then you have Mu. Mu has no symbol for it. So everyone, you can go back, pause it. When I show you in the book the symbol for the perfected man, pause it where it's also the symbol for magic used by Aleister Crowley, which means it's connected to Lema, which means it's connected to Jack Parson and all them. And then you see that Blavatsky's brought up when it comes to Lemuria. And then when it comes to Lemuria, it's pointing you to Mount Shasta in California. And then when it comes to Mu, it's pointing you to the Yucatan down here in Mexico. The key point is that the math starts here in America. The math that's the most focused is the perception of man and the way you see things. But as again, I revert everybody. You'd have to go back and watch 32I square, because then I'll just be breaking back into that. So for everybody to go back and check out that, and then come back to this video and understand what I just shared with you. The other part of the mathematics is to use math for a building, not to just calculate some number. Math is important when you're calculating how much food you have to store, how much food you have to give out, how many animals and livestock, for those that eat meat, to store and to give out. Things that everyone is using to build as many extra as possible, so that per person it should be 20 different things of one thing made by us in our own community, which that goes into 3 and P. But to stay on the math, the symbol of perfection is basically the sliding scale, and it is staying balanced. That when you're fully balanced on the right, the same mathematical length and distance as on the left, and as above, so below, which is really the imprint of the petrified giants. I'm just throwing that shit. But anyway, basically this is all the perception of where you are. And when they talk about inner light, that's where the sun is, as you observe this here great earth in the lands that we call America. So for all my good brothers and sisters of the feather, this is basically the introduction into the information about 0-point energy, master mathematics of the crown and key of the valley. And I will go in on all kinds of math that was created by people in Pasadena, California, and that people are thinking that they created that shit somewhere else, but they went to Pasadena, California. And if you get Nikola Tesla's, all of the Slovak people who did any damn thing, they were all coming to California. I've been to the art schools. I know for a fact they tell them to stare at the mountain and get inspired by what's on the mountain. I've been to the Keys Nation. I know for a fact that they're gatekeeping for people to not focus on what's on the mountains. And when it comes to the math of man and perfection, it is actually connected to that. And that basically concludes the introduction class, y'all. This is not even day one. It's just the introduction class to the information. When I break down the math and how to properly calculate and all that, y'all gonna love it. When it gets to building structures and all that, there's gonna be a split. We can continue on building the way we do, or we can move on to 3D printing. When it comes to megalithic structures and structures like that, my focus would be making structures out of solid stone. And if you don't have the tech to do it, you don't have the capability to think about a tech to do it, then you can't really talk about the ancient megaliths in the ancient world today in a way as if you're a part of it. You can only talk about it as the Slovak people when they talk about it. So you're basically no different than a tour spectating tourist. But there's so many different structures all throughout America. You can go and absorb and get inspiration once you know what you're looking at it, once you observe the earth through the way that the earth sees itself. You'll understand that in ecology, the math is prevalent, that in the way that we are and the way that we operate, math is prevalent in our body, the way that the balance is, 2 feet, 2 hands, 2 arms, 2 the eyes, the nostrils, and everything, the ears and all that. The balance and the math is all there. It's pretty simple. It's real simple. All right. So again, to sum it up, covered that when it comes to ancient mathematics, ancient civilization, that when it comes to Atlantis, they're going to point you in many different directions in the wrong way, but then they're going to show you the symbol of perfection. And some use the symbol of magic, but that's just trapping the perfection. Then when it comes to Lemuria, the symbol is the symbol of a circle, which is also perfection. The complete circle is a symbol of perfection. Incomplete circle is almost perfection and room for improvement. Then you have the fact that those two symbols, like you can literally make that symbol and then make the circle around it, and then, well, anyway, you get the picture. But when it came to Lemuria, it's pointing you to Mount Shasta. Like they say all the other places and all that, just down the third, they dedicate a whole page to Mount Shasta. Not into the UFO stuff. I'm not too fond of alien stuff or all that type of stuff, but they talk about all that. I'm not into that Bigfoot Yeti nonsense or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Lightfoot's 12 foot tall beings that they're talking about. I'm not into all that stuff at all. When I say petrified giants, I'm talking about shit that was 600 feet tall, which makes you be like, God damn, well, that's blowing it completely out of proportion. You're damn right. And our ancestors made giant earthworks out of it. So on top of that, and I'm stating that our ancestors knew these things. They knew what minerals that came out of the bodies, same minerals in our blood, these same locations. I can't say too much on that information as well. I have to be doing some pay-per-views. Probably have to do a pay-per-view once a month about this, because I'll start releasing information that is very, very important and key to people who do geo-surveying, who do LIGAR for minerals around the world, to how to, fracking, oil, gas, how the planet works, all that. You're going to get it here on Supreme Chief Holiday Channel. I think I on sports news, entertainment as well, and on my channels. I usually don't promote my channels for anybody to really subscribe to them, but the only channel I will promote is my Matthew Douglas Craig channel, my discoveries, and my channel President Amue Onso Chikini Nishasha. Yeah, not playing at all with this, y'all. This advanced technology, advanced math, advanced sciences, advanced ways of observing this stuff and seeing these things, an ancient way that most people aren't used to. You're going to get it here You'll get it next Thursday. So, all right, y'all, my good brothers, sisters of the feather. I've been there. Hopefully, everything was loud and clear. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's why I'm starting to present this the baby steps first. This real baby steps. If I get on to the detailed stuff, some people might get dizzy and confused, like, man, what the hell you talking about? But anyway, peace, y'all. Gotta get to bed, gotta get it up, get my day started. Y'all take it easy, man. Enjoy your night. Get it in with your lady. Ladies, get it in with your man. Make it happen. Peace, love. And next Thursday, I will go completely in on math that comes out of Atlantis. Peace.